I'd like to talk about the Whitmer kidnapping case. Now, to refresh your memory, this is a case that has occurred sort of in two waves. There was a trial, and two defendants, Daniel Harris and Brandon Caserta, were found not guilty. Not guilty on the basis that the FBI entrapped them into pursuing this kidnapping plot. So it was the FBI that really did it, put them up to it. And the jury just didn't believe the government, didn't believe the Biden DOJ, didn't believe the FBI. And so Daniel Harris and Brandon Caserta are walking free. But the other two guys who were on trial, Adam Fox and Barry Croft, you had a hung jury, which means there was obviously at least someone, maybe more than one, that wanted to convict, and others who wanted to acquit, and they couldn't come to an agreement. And so there's the second trial going on right now. In fact, it just concluded, and the judge is giving instructions to the jury. Now, a lot has come out in the trial, and by and large, once again, it's been shown that the FBI played a very active, and I would say even aggressive role in driving this plot forward. And the defense has been pretty effective in bringing this out. The defense's theory is that you've got these yahoos, and a lot of them were very angry about COVID. They were very angry at Whitmer. They were also high on pot. They would meet together and basically get into these bragging sessions. Oh, we're going to teach her a lesson. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But it was all talk. In other words, they had no ability, and they showed actually no active intention to carry out this plot until the FBI got involved. So from the defense's point of view, these guys were essentially engaging in a kind of irresponsible fantasy. They talked about, let's take Governor Whitmer and we'll leave her on a boat in Lake Michigan. They even got the idea of taking her away in a helicopter. I mean, think how stupid it is. These guys had no ability to get a helicopter, let alone get the governor and put her in a helicopter. So again, this is the basis of accusing these guys of, quote, conspiracy. Let's remember, Governor Whitmer wasn't kidnapped, so they can't accuse them of kidnapping Governor Whitmer. They can accuse them of attempting to, but the orchestration appears to have come from the FBI. Now, this has all been shown very effectively in trial, and I think the judge, this is a guy named U.S. District Judge Robert Jonker, Jonker. I think he's a little worried that these two guys might get off, just like the earlier two guys. By the way, the judge didn't allow any mention during this trial that the other two guys tried for the same thing were acquitted. That information was kept from the jury. So the jury doesn't know what happened to the other two defendants. Even though those defendants had to be named during the trial, nothing was said about what happened to them. Now, the judge in his closing instructions has told the jury the following. Quote, it's not entrapment. I'm getting this, by the way, from the Detroit Free Press, which has been on the scene covering the trial. The judge said that it's not entrapment if someone is already willing to commit the crime. The judge has also said that even if the government provides someone with a favorable opportunity to commit the crime, it's not entrapment if that person already had the prior willingness to commit the crime. If an FBI agent persuades someone to commit a crime, it's not entrapment if that person is already willing. And so I think that these statements, which, by the way, are, it seems what the judge is trying to do here is push the jury. The judge would deny it. He would say, I'm merely stating the law. But what he's doing by framing it this way is trying to push the jury toward obtaining some sort of a conviction, in my opinion. Because what the judge knows is that the extensive FBI involvement is now shown. And what the judge is basically saying is that in order for the defendants to get off, they should have shown from the beginning a reluctance or unwillingness to carry forward the crime. Now, in fact, I think the defendants were boasters, and they had the, quote, intention to commit the crime in the sense that they said that they would do it. But they didn't, A, take the actions to do it, or B, have the means to carry it out. and those were supplied by the FBI. The FBI actually moved the plot from, you may say, pot boasting stage to where these guys were actually kind of in on it, and then the FBI turns around and busts them. Now, the defense, I think, has correctly shown and effectively established that, hey, if it wasn't for the FBI, this plot would not have gone forward. It would have remained empty talk. And so what the judge is doing is he's using this concept of willingness. I mean, one can be willing to do something. Some guy in his rocking chair, I am willing to join ISIS. Now, he doesn't know how to join ISIS. He takes no steps to join ISIS. This is idle talk that he's making, maybe for whatever purposes, boastfulness, just venting, whatever. But it seems to me that a mere willingness, and by willingness here I'm talking about merely saying I'm going to do it, means nothing. And this can hardly be taken as evidence for a crime. Remember, we're talking about the serious crime of conspiracy, for which these two guys could get life in prison. Think of how unfair it would be if the other two defendants are let off and acquitted, and these two guys get life in prison, all four of them supposedly involved in the same thing. Right here, you begin to see the problematics of the justice system here, because I think, and I'm hoping that the jury, by the way, sees through this. I'm hoping that the jury is in a position where they recognize that the FBI itself is a rogue operation, that the guy who runs that division is now running the January 6th operation. This is a politically motivated case for the FBI. They're going after these guys by and large. They set them up, and they're now going after them. And this could very well have been a trial run for January 6th.